welcome to Star Stop, and this is going to be a slightly embarrassing moment for the lady right next to me. You know, so you have an idea of Aishwarya Rai, yeah? And then you hear that she's coming into the room. And then she walks into the room and everyone just, oh my God, we skip a beat. So that happens only with two people. One is with your father-in-law, Mr. Bachchan. I'm never able to speak to him and he takes so much advantage of it. And he rags me, so as to say. But my God, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Oh my God, absolute pleasure.
No, but I have to say, it takes your breath away and you're trying not to look at the person and say, how can someone actually stay like this for as long as you have stayed like this?
Oh my
It
God.
is true. And I remember having this discussion with you years ago, and you've got all these fan clubs. I know you don't like to go on social media. And there's this interview that we'd done years ago for Action Replay, where my hair was horribly blonde. And we were discussing this about, I was saying that how does it feel to be this beautiful? And you said, oh my God, stop it, because I hate this question being asked all the time. And you won't believe it, today on Twitter, they've said, we still remember that part, and is she looking as beautiful? I said, let me at least meet her first, and then I'll tell you. So this baggage that you carry about, sadly, having to carry this for the last, godforsaken 20 years of your life, have you dealt with it? It's very difficult. People carry the baggage of superstardom, of an image. You've got to just be beautiful all the time. And it's not difficult for you, I know that, but still. Is it tough? Have you ever, like, buckled under it?
Firstly, I think if people are paying compliments, then we can just graciously say thank you. You're all very generous, so thank you. And, but on the, I don't know, it's each one's own perception of beauty and how one chooses to address that term. If it's purely this in the exterior, then it's kind of the team put it together. It's kind of there every day. It's makeup, hair, costume, clothes, and so on and so forth. I think it's about really, for me, it's more about being. And if that actually attracts any kind of a compliment, then that's a huge shout out and a thank you really, I think, to my parents for their upbringing. And that's the way I'd prefer to receive it. And I kind of thank everybody then for acknowledging that. And that apart, I think it's just sheer generosity of the turf. I mean, if it all started with a title and uske baad, matlab...
No. A lot of people started with the title. It didn't carry on for a very long period of time. So let the praise be where it's due. And, it's fantastic. And like you said, you've also put in a lot of effort into that, so it works. But now I have to say, so this is a new Aishwarya Rai now for all of us. Your daughter is so cute.
Oh, thank you.
You've got a zone where you've got to be protective of her, and not so much. There's got to be a little bit of her outside and not. Is that, nobody can teach you that as such.
Yeah.
That must be really tough because being a celebrity mother, then the child has to realize who the parents are, and then you've got like number of people in the house that are all names. She doesn't probably know about it right now, does she? Or she's starting to get to know a little bit?
We'll have to ask her. No, jokes apart.
Yeah.
But I think, like you rightly recognize, it's not something that comes with a rule book, or it's not something that there's no lesson really to be taught here, except probably unknowingly you pass on the way you have been raised. So knowingly or unknowingly, somewhere I am going to end up raising Aradhya the way I've been raised by my parents. And so I come from a family that has absolutely no roots in showbiz or in that sense from a public life, if that be the term. And Abhishek, on the other hand, is born to it.
Completely.
So, and yet, to him and to me, we find each other exceedingly normal. So that's the normal we end up obviously inculcating in Aradhya, and that's the way life will roll.
Who's the more dominating parent? You? Yes.
Well...
he looks like the more spoiling kind.
Well, I don't know about dominating or spoiling. I don't know if that's the term. But obviously, I think by virtue of just our vocation and what we do, I as the mother end up spending a lot more time. And Aradhya spends a lot more time with me. So in that sense, I may be the more predominant impressing parent on her, the one who's around her possibly more in terms of time than Abhishek, but that's just because of the way the job has been. I mean, I started making a movie this year. Abhishek has been working since year one, and our jobs really, we have always said, keeps you traveling all the time. So
it's actually very hard to have two parents that are in the same field that are both actors. Very difficult for children to actually be there because they'll be asking questions. Mommy, I didn't like that film of yours. Or, you know, I didn't like that film of yours. Why'd you do it? Then, you know, you have to be completely honest.
I would like to think that's a long way off. Because at this point, yeah, she knows.
But trust me, no.
I think now
I have 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds.
realized, yeah. But you know, it's interesting that when we say normal, in the sense that she doesn't go around seeing posters or photographs of people from industry and name them by the screen name, in the sense like just say, hey, and you take a name, like you'll say, hey, Aishwarya Rai, hey, you know, Abhishek Bachchan, or whatever. She doesn't call our colleagues that way. Whoever she's met is this uncle or that auntie, and that's it. And that way it's nice. I mean, she's going to be 4 this November, and yet she's interestingly, obviously, I'm sure aware, but quite out of it as well. I mean, even when she's come,
for sanity.
Yeah, I mean, it's even in terms of songs, she's not yet really raging on all the numbers. She'll know lilt and rhythms, but Abhishek teases me. He says, I think you're in denial. You actually are, you belong to this industry, and she's like born to it. So he says, I think you're completely in denial because you've kept her so removed from the turf as yet. Yeah, she's quite removed from it.
There'll be an explosion, I think, in a year.
I don't know. I'll figure out. But so far, she's quite removed. And me going to work until I never use the word shooting, because I kind of find that it may be confusing. So I kind of never use that term with her. I've always said I'm going to office and kept it that way since very early.
You tell her that you're going to office?
Yes, from very early it was I'm going to office. So today, which office? Today's the dubbing office. Today's the bus office, as in trailers, and I'm going to work and filming. And that's been the term so far.
Wow.
But, you know, from the start of this movie to now, it's because before that, there was a lot of office and meetings. And, you know, when you'd go to even all my advertising work and shoots and appearances, I mean, how do you say appearances? Or how do you say inaugurations to a kid? So I'd just be going to office and coming, you know. And if I'd be traveling on my ad shoots and appearances, then she'd be traveling with me. So I'd get ready in the room, and then I'm out, and then I'm back. So where have I gone? I've gone to office.
Wow.
So that's the way I kind of kept it for the longest time.
But this is a brilliant segregation, and I think it's a lesson to be learned for a number of people. Now you come back in, and like I said, of course,
it is office. We're working. You're going on a job and back.
Essentially, but it's very glamorized
Not a walk in the
work
park.
also.
Yeah, I'm sure she kind of thinks, for this.
And
office,
if she's 4, I've seen 2.5-year-old kids, and I'm shocked at what all they say, and it's a nightmare. I'm married now, but I'm so scared. I'm petrified. I want to be a parent of saying and doing the wrong thing every time. So yeah, so you know, hats off to you on that.
It just naturally happens, trust you me.
That's what people say. I don't know about that. But now when you come to...
it's beautiful. And I'm going to gush. But you're going to love it. And you're going to be sitting here, not be blonde, probably be a brunette. We're going to talk and you're going to tell me.
Okay, so now...
Great decision.
We skip the parenting because it's very difficult. And it's something that I think that you all deserve awards for, especially mothers do. But there's another award I think that is going to come back in, because every time you make a decision to make the comeback, there was going to be a million questions that are going to be asked, and what and how and which. And I think in this film, before we go to anything, color was a very big question that the whole world was asking once the promo came out. They said it's green and there's this. Some people loved it, some people didn't like it. They all loved you. They loved the story, they liked Irfan. Irfan's now, we'll talk about him actually, he's become a really big guy now. But Sanjay Gupta, there's one thing about him always, style.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, I would have wanted to see you back in a stylish avatar, and I have. So was that one of the big prerequisites for you to come back also? Style and substance, and not just only substance?
Very honestly, I didn't quite overthink it to that extent. But I wouldn't say I was not aware of the combination, because and that was what was interesting and was intriguing to us, I think all of us, because we actors exchange this also with each other. Because when you hear the script, or when you'll see the movie, you'll know the idea. So you can imagine what we were first faced with. And ideas exchanged with you, and you can all have a movie in your head.
Yeah.
But that's the way it begins. That was content that we were definitely keen on doing, each of us individually, and now I'll speak for myself. So definitely, yeah, that was a subject I was very, very happy to do. And obviously, having now become a mother, I recognized that this was going to be my first opportunity to play a parent where naturally my own personal experience would bring a lot of integrity to the performance. Because, you know, before this also, I have played parts or characters ahead maybe of my time, and at that time you define it as sari clad and, you know, children around and all. But there's a marked difference in the way your approach is before becoming a parent to when you become a parent. There is a marked difference to the way you do it, because now it comes from a place of truth.
Yeah, it's a real emotion now, I guess.
There is an honest emotion that you can put to any and every moment. There won't be a scale up or a scale down.
Yeah.
You'll probably just know the right note to hit because it's just something that happens within, you know, when you become a parent. So that to me was an easy yes. Also, the part is extremely strong, and the movie itself, the things we're talking about in the subject are very, very relevant, very, very important, and that's socially being actually talked about in the recent times a lot. So that kind of content to bring to fore with the kind of team that was doing it together just seemed like an excellent turf, and I would have done this movie a couple of years ago. I would do this a couple of years ahead. So it's not necessarily attached to the fact that this would be the perfect comeback film, or I really wasn't looking at it that way. It's a film I was really, really happy to do.
Are you tough to convince?
You'll have to ask the makers. But
yeah, I'm actually missing Sanjay Gupta. I'm gonna ask him that, yeah.
But the combination was exciting because you know, certain subjects which have an immense sense of realism have a typical imaging that the mind's eye will possibly you know, create for each of us. But then now to have this kind of a narrative to be told Sanjay Gupta style was intriguing and exciting, because that's something that all of us, I mean, I still have to see the movie, so I know I'm going to be surprised as well, because probably even when shooting it, you have enacted an entire scene a certain way, but the way he's going to come and edit it is just, it's going to be different.
Yeah,
and I don't know what we're in for either. So that's kind of exciting, no? To kind of discover the unknown, to kind of figure out what it's going to be like in his identifiably stylized translation,
which it already is actually.
It's very, very, but and it's interesting to see like, and the pace. There's a certain pace in which he cuts his film. There's a certain way that you would possibly enact a scene in reality. You know, there's a certain real timing and then his cinematic timing. So this combination was exciting and interesting. So there's something new to actually look forward to when you go to set. So it's more that. I think as actors, that's what we seek. After you've done quite a bit of work.
Everything?
Each time you're looking for something new that's going to keep you interested, excited, and curious. Because that's what you're really looking forward to do every day and go back and rediscover.
You know, I think the very fact that Aishwarya decided to make a comeback, and that was the exciting part. And then there was a thriller. And then you're thinking Sanjay Gupta, you know. So remember, this is the man, when he made Kaante, all of us tried to do that ash blonde streaks. Yeah, we tried that little beard thing. And it's true, you know. So it wasn't just Sanjay Dutt walking. It was, you know, decisions by a man who stylized it. Then he made this brown film called Musafir, and we loved it. And we all tried to look like that. So, you know, you're talking about a man and a lineage of style. And then you've got Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and you've got Irfan Khan. So it makes for a very, very potent cocktail. We'll take a little break and come right back. Trust me, she's even pretty in real life.
Oh.